All right, we are live for the Friday edition of the morning check-in, and yeah, hope everyone had a great week, man. Wanted to just end the week with just some things that caught my attention that should concern us all. Just because we have this campaign trail from the left and the right that's picking up, intensifying, the narrative's changing a little bit, and I'm seeing a lot of questionable activity on the Democratic side that once again should all be brought into question. So definitely lots of propaganda going from both sides of the aisle. But one of the things that really caught my attention is a sense of urgency coming from the Republican side in reference to Donald Trump and how he is really out uh, repeating the fact that bad things are coming. And then what really brings me to question how things end up is based upon the fact that bad things are coming regardless, and I'm not really convinced or sold that President Trump getting a second term will actually prevent any of it. So there's different layers of things that are unfolding right now, and we're already in the midst of them. Like they're already taking place now. It just hasn't reached that peak to where it has become obvious to the public. But once again, I want to share with you recent little video clip from his speech yesterday and how he started things off. And but based upon that, that right there is worth our attention, of course, because we're going to hear a lot more of this until something becomes obvious. So anyway, but yeah, curious to hear what you guys are thinking about, what you guys are keeping your eyes on. Let me know in the chat, what you guys are pursuing as far as opportunities and things of that nature. Always looking for a variety of ways of maneuvering in these new times that we're in. But anyway, welcome to the chat. Let me know if the audio is good. Let me know if you guys can hear me. Let me know if the visual is good. And I have maybe 5, 6, 7 different headlines, and I want to just share my 2 cents on it, and of course get your thoughts. So feel free to let me know in the chat what you guys are keeping your eyes on. And so as I try to give it a second here, let more people get notified. Let me know in the chat if you guys can hear me. The goal is to be able to connect and learn from you guys as well. And so I'm just typing, share your thoughts in the chat. And so let me know if let me know if that come through so you guys can see what I see. And then we'll jump right into it, man. Yeah, so I want to start off by, just basically just provide some resources for those who might be new to the channel. Never know who might be new. Want to make sure everybody has a chance to, get the same information and be able to have access to the resources. And so that's the most key, because it's never been a more important time to take matters into your own hands. So that is right now. So anyway, let's jump into it, man. Before I move forward, we know this past week started off on Monday. Financial markets were trembling, and due to the issues out of Japan. But then again, it's not just a Japan event. This is a globally systemic event that's at stake here, and it has everything to do with debt. And speaking of which, I've noticed, because I follow a lot of commentators in this space, and I've noticed a increasing trend of a lot of smart individuals coming out elaborating as to why they believe that things are going to get worse. And so let me share with you just some things here, just some headlines rather. Give me 1 second here. This is a last minute little spiel here, but just these two headlines here from two very smart individuals, it should be enough to really get you to think about what's really at stake here. Let me get my screen tapped in here so you guys can see what I see here. But I'm going to share with you on the screen here real quick the reason why I think this subject matter is important and why bad things are already present. So here is two headlines from the Tom Below, if I'm saying that correctly, show. So the top one came out 2 hours ago, and it already has 99,000 views. And then the other one is from yesterday. And so it's Ray Dalio, billionaire, basically saying here 2024 will get worse. And then they're using the narrative of recession. And then you have the one above says the big recession is coming. And so some people can say, like, this is just fear porn. This is just doom and gloom. But it's like, okay, credible news outlet. Tom has over, 1 million people. So he's accredited, media company, and he has valid guests on there. And so when these two individuals come over, and share their concerns, this is definitely something we're paying attention to. But both of these headlines talk about a recession. And if you've been a part of the community here for any other time, I've talked about the fact we've been in a recession according to the metrics that we've used from prior years for quite some time now. And so definitely over a year, maybe 2 years or so, we've been in a recession. But this prolonged economic artificial reality they've created because of zero interest rates for the last 15 years has led us to be in some unknown world. And I call it the great monetary experiment. And so because of the manipulation of the system, and we're already in a recession. I shared metrics throughout my previous videos. That leads us to just wonder, how much worse can things get beyond a depression is what I would consider, rather than these recessionary talks. These recessionary talks are just conventional things that happen every, so often during the boom and bust cycle. But, we're past the point when something officially breaks of a depression that we've never, ever imagined, that will make 1929 and that decade that followed look like, an exciting time and a time of enjoyment compared to what we're going to witness now in different pockets throughout the world. But not, of course, the results and the impact that they have on families will be different because everybody, has had more than enough time to take precautionary measures for themselves. But then again, we're all going to be impacted. So I want to share with you just this little clip here about President Trump, and then we're going to get into it more. But before I do that, because I'm laying all this foundation, that's why I always remind people of the opportunities that are available. And so right now, as I want to continue to harp, my partners over Colonials Metals Group, they are the experts in helping people take physical possession of their retirements in the form of a self-directed IRA. And so they have been blessing the community thus far. I want to make sure everybody continues to realize that if you have anything in the TradFi system, in the legacy system, you might want to be more strategic and intentional while things appear to be calm. But anyway, if you guys are interested in getting your questions answered and finding out if this service is something of use to you, then there's a link in the description. Fill out this form here. You'll be contacted by their team there. Ask questions. The more questions you ask, the better you'll be informed and be able to see if this is something for you. And of course, for those who do participate, they offer a lot of incentives to add to your stack. So you can actually put gold and silver as well as other assets into a portfolio that is, has been true, tried, and tested against monetary manipulation and crashes and resets and things of that nature. So if you're interested, I encourage you to click the link in the description, get all the information, get all the questions you need. There's also a phone number where you can call and get actually to them directly and ask all your questions. So don't be afraid to ask questions, because the person that asks the most questions will be the one that has the best chance of protecting and preserving everything they work for. So last little thing, colonialsmetalsgroup.com/RTD, the number 888-521-2448. Give them a call and protect yourself, people. That's the most important thing. Protect yourself. And then last, I presented a video yesterday on the channel here in reference to opportunities. And so I believe in having a personal strategy where you have multiple angles of which you acquire precious metals. You have your overseas depositories, you have your local coin shops, you have your online bullions. And the most recent one that I've been a part of is actually starting a business dealing with silver, where you become your own personal bullion store and allows you to directly access the market as a distributor. And so I'm excited to actually share this with people, because the opportunity of joining the RTD Silver team is something that I think everybody should at least consider, just because, once again, right now, times are a little bit questionable for everybody, but everyone needs income. You need income until the UBI comes. But if you're interested, in the description here is a link to the RTD Silver team, where basically I am just giving people a quick explanation as to what the opportunity is, so that you can actually take possession of physical metal, automating your weight, and then being able to help others do the same. So it's not about you, because if you're watching, you have a stack. But then again, it's your family and friends who may not be aware of what's coming. Those are the ones you want to help them just get something. Anything is better than nothing. And so they need to add to their stack, and it's their responsibility. So if you're interested, I want to make sure everybody has a chance. So here, as you can see on the screen here, this is a part of the affiliate here, where in this team here, you have people who actually add to their stack and they've been doing it for quite some time now. So it's a personal thing. But then again, it goes a long way. So here you can see people here actually taking advantage of opportunities to add to their personal stack. So if you're interested, links in the description here. Feel free to ask questions or whatever in the chat, and I'll get back to you when I can. But other than that, those are some opportunities there. So there's no excuse to why people can't protect, preserve, and I won't say necessarily prosper, but I will say be in better position for the rebooting of the system as things unfold. So anyway, that's just a little something there for resources for people who might be interested. So definitely share your thoughts in the comment section there. Let's go from there. But anyway, so as I mentioned, week started off kind of shaky, but of course, somebody stepped in. And so I've seen a lot of people talk about the plunge protection team, which I wouldn't doubt it. And so that someone happened to be the powers that be that wanted things to continue to be prolonged, because there's a lot of things happening right now. You got the military issues, you got this presidential election issue, which has to look good for the Democratic Party. And then you have the overall reset of our monetary system with all the activity happening in the gold market out east. And of course, silver and gold is the pin that could clearly explode the entire financial structure. And so they got to make sure that pin stays in there. And so once again, manipulation can be your friend. So real quick here, I want to just thumb through some of the activity and see what we see. So this past Monday, when I was on the screen here, you could see that this screen here was all red. It was dark red, but now it's scattered throughout. Google, as of right now, is the only major publicly traded company that's in the negative slightly. But then again, Tesla is a little bit negative. But then overall, the Big Seven, the Big 10, whatever they want to call it, is still standing. So we got time, people. And then also in the crypto space, I've had a lot of back and forth with the crypto community because a lot of people are, maximalism is it's a mental, I ain't gonna say a mental illness, but it should be of concern, because when people are out here willing to say that there's only one way to protect yourself, and it's Bitcoin, and everything else is a crap coin, I'm like, wow, that's to me very harsh. Because as a person who realized how important gold is, I would never sit up here and say that, only gold is the right way to go. Everything else is a crap metal. So when people have those narratives, remind you, propaganda is a dangerous drug. And I would encourage everybody to get this book. Once you go through this book here, you'll get a better understanding of how narratives are framed and how they're propagated through different mediums, trying to rebrand and install new paradigms within people's minds. And it works. Like right now, especially in the political scene, when you realize what propaganda is and how it operates, you can see through a lot of BS. And that's why on the left and right of this political campaign, you can see so much fluff. Anyway, okay, so the primary subject I want to talk about happens to be around the warning that was issued. And so clearly, bad things are coming. And so what really stands out to me is the fact that President Trump is continuing to beat the drum, saying that bad things are coming. And I want to submit to you guys that, based upon the things he shares, we're already witnessing it in very small forms. So bad things are already present. And what I find problematic is that, he is trying to convince the voting population that, he is the only one that can stop it. And I'm thinking, like, it's too late. You can probably minimize or avoid one or two of the issues. But then again, no single person can stop it all. But then again, it's worth trying, of course. So if those who are watching still believe in the voting concept, then, feel free, play your part. But realize, the governing authorities, powers that be, the principalities and powers at the top, very top of all this, that is overseeing this, reboot and rebuild, restructuring of the system, no matter what, they have many cards up their sleeves. And so if this whole, make America great again or narrative is something that is genuine and authentic, then they have another angle that they're going to unleash on the public. So real quick here, I'm going to play this video and I'm going to talk through it real quick. And this is where, like, everybody has different opinions. So there's people watching me right now that, actually believe that, an individual can save. An individual, meaning as in a natural born flesh human being such as Trump can save. I do believe things will be saved, but not in the format that, Trump would like for it to be. But then again, God is able to do abundantly above all that we ask or think. So definitely divine intervention is possible to keep things operational. But then again, I do believe that as time goes forward, they will get worse before they get better. We're not going back. We're in a new era now, a new age. And so I don't have any hopes of going back. I'm more so focused about going forward and what will going forward look like. How can we as a collective group of individuals reshape the future we want outside of the control of the ruling party, which happens to be the entire government model. The two-party system is the problem. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I can go on and on, but let's listen to this rant and then we'll break it down. And this is where you get a chance to participate. Share your thoughts and let me know what you hear, because what I hear might suit the narrative that I'm trying to frame here, rather than I'm probably interpreting it wrong. So let me know. But let's listen to this real quick.
Standpoint, from a safety standpoint, both gangs on the street and, frankly, gangs outside of our country in the form of other countries that are, frankly, very powerful. They're very powerful countries, and we don't know what we're doing. We have leadership that has no clue how to handle them or how to handle any other situation. We have a lot of bad things coming up. You could end up in a depression of the 1929 variety, which would be a devastating thing. Took many years, took decades to recover from it. And we're very close to that. And we're very close to a world war. In my opinion, we're very close to a world war. We have people that don't know how to handle it. They're not respected. All over the world, they're laughed at. And we can't have that. Most dangerous period of time I've ever seen for our country.
All right. So there's two areas that he mentioned there, which are important. So no doubt, he's going to continue to harp on that because it's a part of his campaign, because those are real events. But then again, that's just not it. He said a depression like we've never seen before since 1929. As I just started off this whole rant, based upon the way things have been set up, because it's a global event, it will be well beyond. It could be well beyond what was witnessed in 1929. That was a decade-long event. This one here could be something. I can't imagine how bad it could be. It could be, but then again, because of technology and the use of digital technology and things of that nature, that could, I guess, keep it from looking and visibly being that way, because they'll be able to distribute monetary units, whether it be CBDCs or whatever, a lot faster because everyone has cell phones. So the world's not ending. The internet will still be on. But then again, it's going to be the impact of people's lives when it comes to their financial sovereignty. That's going to be completely obliterated because the banking system will be rebooted and it'll look a lot different than it does now. So that depression he's talking about, that's something that's real, but I think it's going to come regardless because of the debt. So he can't pay off the debt in any form of fashion. He can only add to it because the system is dead. So once again, other than kicking the can down the road, there is no creating genuine growth within his country unless some type of technology is released, free energy, free water, free food, or something that the government's holding on to reshapes the way that we do business. Then that can be very positive for our country. But I don't see him opening up, the Area 51 and unleashing technology that is owned by the oligarchy families that suppressed all this technology for the last 100 whatever plus years. So anyway, that's one thing. Then the second one was, World War III. We are already in a variety of wars. We have currency wars with the way that fiat currencies has responded to gold. Gold is at an all-time high in all fiat currencies. So the currency war is it should be important, but he'll never mention that. And so that right then and there has already played a major role in hindering people from being able to preserve their financial futures, those who are not in real money. That's why I started off talking about taking it upon yourself to do your own monetary and financial due diligence. So that is one war, currency war. Then we have the proxy wars that our government agencies have strategically started, propagated, promoted, destabilized excursions in all types of countries. Sudan right now is going through issues funded by our agencies. We have the Venezuela coup with Maduro that's being hindered and helped by our agencies. We have the Russian Ukraine, which is a part of the US's agenda. We have Israel, Gaza, Palestine, which is a part of the US industrial military complex. So that's just four I named. There's more that I'm not even aware of, I'm sure. But we're already at war. Now, a world war is all hedged upon what happens in the Middle East. That's where everything will be, biblically speaking, taking place at, as well as according to the powers that be, the way they want it to take place because of their desire to take out the last Middle Eastern country, which they don't have the greatest influence over, which is Iran. And so somehow, some way, I don't see Trump coming in office and being that peacekeeper when you have all these proxy wars taking place for a variety of reasons. Somebody's going to go above and beyond, and God forbid, let off, a hot one that's going to then trigger all types of other events. So that's just the second one: depression, the wars. Third one is societal unrest within this country because of the migrants, the immigrants. We are already at war amongst ourselves in different areas. The mainstream media doesn't cover it. In New York, Chicago, and all those heavily populated, democratically woke countries, especially here in Michigan, where I reside, we have had an increase in break-ins, and the people who are caught are illegal immigrants. They're not even from here. And so that is a part of the societal unrest where it's starting with crime now, but then again, it could escalate to a lot more than just crime against people who have things. It's going to turn into a clash between natural born citizens and people who have no vested interest in anything to do with the American way of life because they're not from here. So that is going to occur at some point. And if he becomes president, referring to Trump, you better believe that the people who were brought in for free, given debit cards, given cell phones, given housing, giving transportation, they're going to fight to not go back. So it won't be just rounding up people and saying you're going home. We don't know the number of people, and we don't know where to send them back to. So those people who are in this country illegally, they're going to put up a fight, and the fight will ultimately break down to how the citizens who have guns are able to defend themselves and defend their country. So we're being set up for a civil war. That's the third war. And so that's just that. Okay. So those are just two events there. Then we have this political restructuring. Literally, if you look at the Democratic conventions, not conventions, the rallies, the last three rallies Kamala Harris has had, the one in Philadelphia that popped up the day of, sold out crowd at Temple University, supposedly. If you look at the very footage of all the participants by the stage, just so much questionable technology that's at use. The cell phones that are being used, everybody has a cell phone. And this is off topic, but then again, since I'm here, let me just share with you just things that, like I was going to rant about it, but I didn't, just because I'm like, you know what, I'm, just some people care, some people don't. But let me just share with you real quick here some things that should be of concern to people because it just doesn't make sense. So watch this. I'm going to play for you real quick here some clips of things that you should be concerned with because it's stuff that should be questioned. Here is just some scenery from the uh, Philadelphia, and I'm going to try to pause it if I can. So let me see. It's going to this. So this is a bad angle, but everybody by this stage has a cell phone. But then again, if everybody has a cell phone, who just sits there and record just for fun? Everybody in this current day and age love to share things on social media. And my point is, with all these cell phone cameras pointing at the stage, you look at some of the cell phones, you zoom in. If I can't zoom in without messing things up, but you zoom in, some of the things on the screen aren't even what's actually in front of them, meaning that a lot of this stuff has been artificially placed into this screen that's not even really there. And there's more than enough, people doing this diagnostic type work online. But if you go check out some of that stuff and look closely, you'll see that things aren't adding up. So all these phones, look at all these cell phones. To the right over here, all these cell phones. And then I couldn't find not one single. So underneath this white thing here is all these cell phones. There's buku cell phones. But long story short, try to find any of that online. People usually share things because they want to be associated or tag where they're geographically located at. I'm in, Philadelphia with Kamala Harris, whatever. So I'm posting this there. I didn't find nothing. And the things I did find happened to be things from influencers. And so there's a big thing about this. Real quick here. There's a big thing about influencers. And so people are now basically ratting, saying that Kamala Harris group, her public relations team, is out here buying votes. And so here is a little rant from a Twitch guy. It says top gaming streamer 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪 exposed Kamala Harris for calling his team to request he stream with her. He is around the sixth. This is around the sixth time Kamala Harris has been exposed for desperate outreach and paying influence. This has gone too far. So on Twitter, this has got 1.4 million views. There's been several videos I've seen of people out here ranting, talking about how they are being offered money to support Kamala Harris. And all you have to do is either have on a show to show her your support, attend one of the rallies for $20,000, and post a picture of you being in that auditorium and comment on it and put a positive spin on it. And so, once again, it's out there if you want to go find it. Point in case is the current Democratic Party, they're using artificial intelligence to make it appear as if there's a large fan base. And so once again, here in Detroit yesterday, 2 days ago, they had a rally. Last minute, it popped up. I was trying to find out where it was at because I was going to go. Didn't find out till 3 or 4 hours after the rally, and it was in an airport hangar in the Metro Detroit airport. And from the looks of it, you would think that the entire city of Detroit came out to it. But then again, go online, you can't find any video footage. So here is a video. Here is a short video clip of what supposedly took place. So you have a plane, and then the camera angles at all these rallies for her, they start in and zoom out just to show you that this is packed. But once again, everybody here has a cell phone pointing at a plane, but go online and look for hashtag Kamala Harris, hashtag, Kamala Detroit. Nothing of substance relative to the amount of cameras out there, meaning a lot of this stuff has been digitally created and put in there. So the magnitude of it, I don't know. Are there people there for real? I'm sure there is. Are there that many people there? I doubt. Once again, AI technology can do wonderful things. Okay, so that's just that. But back to the whole Trump issue. So here we are now. Some warnings out here. So our country is facing things that he's never seen before. Me either. And so the question is, can he be the one to stop it? My submission is no, he can't stop it, because out of all the things I just listed out 20 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago, they're already happening right now. They're already happening. Every single thing that I just mentioned is happening right now, from the wars to the monetary meltdown. It's already happened. We got a glimpse of it on Monday when something from Japan triggered that yen carry trade, which everybody's talking about. That was triggered because of the interest rate environment, because of the debt. And so that's in Japan. Trump can't stop that in Japan. He can't stop it. And then that's just Japan. Europe has its issues. The US has its issues. All the second, third world countries have their issues. So one single person and his policies can't stop that. So because of that, if you know that is true, if you believe that is true, then nothing he says or nothing she says will really, really, really make a difference, because they're already reshaping our futures. And so the warning that's been given is more so should be the alarm bells going off, to where you as an individual should be strategizing on how you can protect and preserve whatever it is you worked hard for, to minimize the risk, minimize the damage, because it's coming regardless. But then amongst all that always comes opportunity. And that is a good part about it. So the bad can be spun into good, because through that, you will have a chance to figure out your entry point to deliver value, whatever that means, however that might be. And of course, as a result of that, you could go through times of uncertainty and not even get scathed by anything. It's like similar to, I got a biblical analogy, but I'm not going to do it. But you guys get my drift here. So just something to keep in mind. Okay, so that is the premise of this video, to let you know that no one can stop, because it's already happening. Okay, now on to some other things here. I'm actually on Tuesday. I'm having Jeff Burrick on the show. So if you are a fan of Jeff Burrick from Vigilante, definitely come back on Tuesday about 7 p.m. or so. We're gonna have a Q&A. I want you to ask questions. So be on the lookout for that. But I found this video here, which made me reach out to him because we talked a couple years ago, but it's been a minute. But he's just laying out an interesting narrative as to why people should question the whole assassination attempt. It's been 2 weeks ago now, 3 weeks ago, and someone, and he makes some good arguments here. Basically, he's saying that if someone attempted to take your life and you barely escape, you escape with just being scratched, that should rewrite and change your entire life to where you couldn't go back, and there not be an obvious change in how you conduct yourself. Nevertheless, the fact that the media and even Trump has swept it under the rug, and either he's gotten a new security detail, or it's the same entities, the secret services and his own private entities, but he's still like it doesn't add up. So what he's saying here is that, is it staged? Is it, so Jeff has a very interesting viewpoint, but he presents questions that people should still be wondering, because literally we're a couple weeks away from a president almost being taken out, and the media is not talking about it. Nobody's talking about it. There's some couple hearings in Congress, but as always, these things that could be, catastrophic in nature get swept on the rug so easy because of the media. And once again, question everything, believe nothing, because the propaganda is getting thicker. So that's just something worthwhile. But me and Jeff gonna talk about that next week. And just another couple of things here. Here is some possible good news, or I would say definitely good news when it comes to free speech. And it looks like the Global Alliance for Responsible Media is discontinued after Elon Musk's ex filed an antitrust lawsuit against it. So this Global Alliance of Responsible Media was a major player in the pushback and the categorizing of information as disinformation and misinformation that is, for the most part, been impacting alternative media as well as just regular news sources, trying to curtail and control the narratives. And so real quick here, because of the whole spin on advertising for X and Rumble, they put up a lawsuit, and because of either genuine concern or their willingness to not want to fight it, they just dropped it. So it's the World Federation of Advertisers discontinuing activities for the Global Alliance for Responsible Media. So ultimately, the World Federation of Advertisers clearly is a conglomerate where through them, they choose and pick what media sources they want to provide funds for. And if you're on their side, you're good. If you're not, then don't get funded. And so good thing as of now. But then again, when it comes to Elon, I just think I have a different perspective on him. But it says the decision follows an antitrust lawsuit filed by Elon Musk's ex. It says WFA said it plans to contest the allegations in court and said it is confident in its compliance. So we'll see how that goes. But it appears to be some type of win in the short term. Okay, more stuff here. When it comes back to what's happening on Main Street, here we have an interesting article here from Mario Nafel. 1.4 trillion in American credit card debt. This is what's happening in Main Street. The average household overall has more debt now than they did pre-pandemic levels as a result of depletion of savings, shakiness of employment, and just all the other issues that come with this current monetary experiment that's unwinding. So this plays into that Great Depression stuff. But it says Americans owe 1.144 trillion on credit cards, averaging 6,329 per person. Credit card delinquencies have risen to 9.1. Balances dropped during the pandemic, but surged 48% since 2001 due to increased spending and the cost of living, inflation. So here you can see on the chart here, this is, the short recession we had here, but this is where things are at now. It's unsustainable. Something has to give. And then also on the international news here, it looks like Maduro's decided to push back on Elon. And so Maduro orders blocking of X in Venezuela. So as I mentioned before, the current events happening with their presidential election, influenced by outside forces, is causing chaos down there. And so no doubt people are tired of Maduro. But then again, it helps when you have the global forces from the West making the chaos that much more noticeable. Because I wouldn't be surprised if there's funds that are providing the mercenaries and the riots down there to take place. So just something, as I mentioned the other day in a rant, saying that if this election took place and neither side accepts the outcome, what do you think is going to happen here in November? Too much is at stake. The Democrat going to be mad if Trump wins, and Trump will be mad if the Democrats win, which will equal some type of chaos, societal unrest. And then here's another interesting article here that people will be confronted with at some point. Florida's biggest insurer says it needs to increase rates by 93%. So I've been watching what's happening in Florida. Condo market is being flooded because homes aren't selling. Retirees are being forced to reconsider the affordability of staying in Florida. So they're selling and moving back to wherever they came from initially. And so the whole migration of retirees to Florida is shifting. If you are a middle class retiree, more than likely your income is fixed, and it's not fixed to the point where you can sustain these increased costs. So ultimately, you just come on back home, and the market there is being flooded with new homes that's not selling. So prices are being pressed down in certain areas throughout Florida, and it's really starting to reveal the have from have nots. The people who can afford it stay and buy up everything. People who can't afford it, they sell and come home. So anyway, that's just a little something there. And then what else here? Here's a little narrative from the West. Take it for what it's made, but I don't really trust it, but it just sounds interesting. Exclusive. First Russian-China barter trade may come this autumn, sources say. So Russia-China barter trade, they already have connected their monetary payment networks together, the chips and then the other one from Russia. They've been doing bills back and forth in their own currencies. So I'm not quite sure why they would need a barter trading system. So I think this article from the West is more so designed to make it appear as if the economies aren't doing well there and the currencies aren't valid for trade amongst one another while they're bartering. So yeah, don't trust it. Don't trust it. And then lastly here's something that my Bitcoin people are not, well, they don't really care. The maximalists don't care. The skeptics do, because here we have USA BTC executive directive proposal for Bitcoin and a tax-free digital economic zone. So ultimately, this is a program set up by a company called Stacks, which is a second layer solution to the Bitcoin network. And so what they're trying to do is basically utilize a dollar network payment system on top of Bitcoin by staking your Bitcoin through the network and issuing dollar derivatives or USD stable coins to the network, which provides the US dollar an extended lifeline and a use case beyond what it's currently being used for now. So this is, to me, more of the original agenda of the whole maximalist movement when Bitcoin was co-opted and coerced and captured during the Black Wars, where the narrative has changed, and now the maximalist has destroyed the opportunity for this to actually be a or authentic, genuine movement of disrupting and helping people debank themselves because they could trust something in the form of a private, or not private, but decentralized, unstoppable, unmutable ledger. That narrative is gone. It has been slowly but surely joined with the current legacy system at the expense of the holders and believers, because of Wall Street and the government working hand in hand to make this possible. So this is a proposal, but then again, this might not go through because it's not government sanctioned or government authorized. But the government, you better believe, have their own program that they will announce whether Trump or Kamala wins. They already got it in. They already got it in mind. So a Bitcoin dollarized ecosystem is coming because that was a part of the original plan, in my opinion. Anyway, so that's just a couple things that caught my attention. But at this current moment, yeah, warning signs are going off. Trump is sounding an alarm, but unfortunately, I think it's too late to actually stop anything because one man can't do it by himself. And so he would literally, if it was meant to stop all this, Congress, both sides of the aisle, would be needed to actually accomplish this. But when Congress has been captured and they no longer operate in the best interest of the people, then you can't expect them to come to an agreement on anything that goes against what they are um, being paid under the table to actually accomplish. And that's coming from the lobbyists, the special, PACs and things of that nature. So that's what's happening. This is what's happening. Wanted to just bring this to you guys. Curious to get your thoughts. Yeah, comment in the chat session if you find value here. This narrative that I framed here is to shine light on the propaganda, and that's what I want to really focus on. Getting to the bottom of these narratives that have been presented to us, countering them with stats and facts based upon things that will counter these narratives, so that people can realize that at this current moment it's hard to trust anybody. So don't even trust me. Go verify for yourself. Go do your own research. That would be my advice. But then again, I'm trying to shoot it straight. So make of it what you may. But if you found value here, hit that bell, hit that thumbs up button, and let's get this out to people so they can find out what's going on, and hopefully be able to take more matters into their own hands, because that's what it boils down to. Not one person saving you from anything, because it's not mathematically possible. Anyway, be blessed, be safe, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Shalom.